Just like any Dark Knight movie in the past, the hype and rumors surrounding the Batman are coming out on the daily. We finally got our answer as to who will play the Caped Crusader, but now we have several other questions. What villains will we see? When does the film take place? Is it a part of the DCEU? Well, thanks to some Batman-style sleuthing, we have picked up on tidbits and gathered some of the most plausible fan theories concerning the Batman. So let's dive deep into the alleys of Gotham City and uncover these awesome fan theories we wish were true. Before we knew Ben Affleck was leaving the role, before we knew Robert Pattinson was taking on the cape, and before we even knew the movie would make it out of the pre-production stage, one of the biggest rumors to make the rounds was the rogue gallery of villains that would appear in the movie. Now, even more details and speculation have formed from the initial rumor. The reason the Batman is going to feature main villains like Catwoman and The Penguin is because the film acts like a mystery story, one where the Batman must use his detective skills to discover the culprit behind some dastardly crimes. The format is definitely something fresh we want to see in the Batman universe, as opposed to Batman taking on another villain in some type of villain origin story. With the villains already established in the world, the character of Batman could be fleshed out more, and we may even see some fun interactions at Arkham Asylum. The key to building up a mystery is creating a lot of suspects Bruce Wayne could either rule out or go up against in his fight to find out the truth. Along with several familiar faces from Batman movies of the past, expect to see some new ones in the mix as well. Older and more weathered Batman appearing in Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Justice League, we can only assume that the Batman will not take place in modern times, but rather have the stage set back in another decade. According to some fan theories and basic calculations, it looks like the Batman could be taking place in the 90s. The setting is perfect for this type of film, and while all the 90s pop culture references may be a little more subtle than Captain Marvel, the decade makes perfect sense. Back in the 90s, Bruce Wayne would have to be a true detective. There's no advanced technology instantly tracking DNA, send out a drone for video surveillance, or the ability to contact Cyborg for a little help. The limited tech capabilities during this era will force Batman to do some actual sleuthing. Plus, the whole 90s thing fits in pretty well with all the other movies in the DCEU, something we'll get into in a little bit. The 90s are also a nostalgic trend right now, seen in everything from fashion to pop culture reboots and reruns of Friends.
Ross is Batman.
Warner Bros. Even owns Friends, so it's plausible to see a funny scene with Chandler and Joey playing in the background of the movie. With Bruce Wayne casting rumors out of the way, we can now focus our attention on who will be playing some of the major Batman villains. The villain casting is just as important as the hero, with a big emphasis placed on the role of the Joker over the years. Well, even though the character has not been confirmed for the movie, there are several fan theories going around that Rihanna is lined up to portray the role of Poison Ivy. It's no secret Rihanna is a huge Poison Ivy fan, and even dyed her hair red to match Uma Thurman's look from Batman and Robin. With some subtle Twitter posts about Batman, we could see this rumor come to life in a fun role for the singer. Sure, Rihanna doesn't showcase the greatest acting abilities in Battleship, but she had a memorable role in Bates Motel, and with a great script, she could do wonders as Poison Ivy. We imagine the Poison Ivy character pretty limited in scenes and not turning out to be one of the big bads of the movie. Whether it's Rihanna or not cast in the role, another Poison Ivy in the movies is long overdue. Plus, her involvement in the movie could lead to a great new song on the Batman soundtrack. There's one story floating around that we truly hope is true. The Batman and the upcoming Flash solo movie may all lead to the faithful Flashpoint storyline. In the story, the Flash goes back in time to save his mother from impending doom, but the alteration in the timeline causes all types of changes known as Flashpoint. One of these changes could see Ben Affleck return to his role as Bruce Wayne and have interactions with Robert Pattinson's younger version of himself. The crossover would be a great way to connect all the films and have a younger Batman appear alongside some of the modern-day heroes like Ezra Miller's Flash. The Flash solo movie was originally going to be a Flashpoint storyline, but that's been pushed back. The whole Flashpoint concept is too compelling to skip, and we have to wonder how the story will play out when it comes to bringing back Ben Affleck into the fold. Either way, this is one rumor and fan theory we will have to put on the shelf for a while. The possibility is literally years and years away, and just one box office disaster could derail everything. Batman has never been a happy-go-lucky guy. His whole life is surrounded by grief and tragedy, especially when it comes to his parents. Gotham City isn't much better either, with constant darkness and crime, even during daytime. This is why it's only fitting that the upcoming Batman movie has been described to be made in the style of film noir. The film noir style has already seen some visual influence in Tim Burton's Batman movies, and the moodiness and detective story elements would make the Batman a natural fit for the genre. If the Batman is a film noir, do not expect the same one-liners and jokes seen in Marvel movies. Bruce Wayne may solve the crime and save the day, but that doesn't mean there will be a happy ending. Characters will perish, truths will be revealed, and Batman will live on knowing his journey to protect the innocent citizens of Gotham City will never end. Sounds pretty gloomy, doesn't it? Well, this is sticking true to the comics. Bruce Wayne may have all the money in the world, but he is always deep-rooted in an anguish and sadness that he can never seem to shake off. Ben Affleck's portrayal of Batman already hinted at this, and Robert Pattinson has a chance to flesh it out even further. Thanks to Batman's great mystery storyline possibly getting set up in The Batman, we have a chance to showcase a whole number of B-list villains. There are the villains Batman fans know well, but are not a big enough challenge to lead a whole Batman movie. Among the various options and rumors include Clayface, Firefly, and the Mad Hatter. We've seen Clayface in Batman the Animated Series, and a poor version on the WB show Birds of Prey, but a big screen live-action version could finally do the character justice. Firefly would be a great minor character Batman takes on, as the villain tries to burn Gotham down to bits, and the Mad Hatter could serve as another fun villain, possibly an Arkham inmate who serves up some clues in the form of poems and riddles. Batman could have short battles with these characters, or they could be nothing more than glorified cameos. Either way, showcasing their presence and giving them some true big screen debuts will help build up the world of Gotham and make it feel even more like the comic books. If the whole rogue gallery thing plans out, then at least one or more of the B-list villains will end up making it to the big screen. We've already hinted at it before, but despite the recasting of Batman and a lot of shakeups at Warner Bros., there is no denying that the Batman could be majorly connected to the DCEU. With both Joker and Wonder Woman set in the 1980s, the events of those films could trickle over and be mentioned in a Batman movie set in the 90s. Making Bruce Wayne younger and not as experienced also fits into the timeline of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. Keeping the Batman within the DCEU will also help expand the potential for sequels and more crossovers down the line. With Shazam, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman getting praised and box office acclaim, Warner Bros. Has the chance to make a stab at another crossover again in the future. Even though the writing would require a lot of things in the timeline to match up, the extra effort is worth it to try and keep the DCEU a moving and active machine. And as mentioned before, the mix-up with The Flash could help Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne travel to present day for even more Batman adventures. Or, Mr. Freeze could also freeze him until he gets thawed out a few decades in the future. While a DCEU connection is a little more plausible, the Batman may find some direct connections to Todd Phillips' Joker solo movie. All it took was one line from Robert Pattinson to get the theory train running, and boy has it taken off. The biggest theory to come of this is that the Batman and the Joker will connect in some ways, and we may even see Joaquin Phoenix's character appear in the Batman. Both Matt Reeves and Todd Phillips were quick to squash these rumors, but they did it with a subtlety that still has us left wondering. While Phoenix's Joker may not take on the Batman directly, he could have some type of protege who puts on the clown makeup and challenges the Batman to some epic battles. Batman movies often honor their roots, and there's no reason the Batman won't do the same. In Justice League, we already saw Batman reference the Marching Penguins from Batman Returns. With the Batman supposedly set in the 90s, we could see a lot more callbacks to the 4 Batman movies from that time, long before the MCU. The 90s was all about Batman, with 1989's Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin taking over the decade. When setting a movie during this time period, it's kinda hard to ignore those films, and you can probably expect to see a lot of fun Easter eggs when it comes to them. Maybe Mr. Freeze will use Arnold Schwarzenegger's cheesy lines about being cold.
Talk about your cold shoulder.
Maybe some costumes from the Batman Returns clown gang could return to the mix. Some snippets of Danny Elfman's soundtrack could be tossed in, just like they were in Justice League. Either way, expect the film to be loaded with all kinds of content and some subtle moments we cannot wait to see. Let's just hope they don't bring back the bat nipples though. That's one thing we'd love to see stay in the past. Nostalgia will definitely be on full blast, and we cannot wait to find out what's in store for the movie. Well, we sure covered a lot of ground, and just like many other theories, a lot of these will probably just lead to dead ends. Still though, they are fun to speculate, and now it's your turn. What fan theory do you think is the most possible? Are there any great ones that we missed? Leave us a comment below and don't forget to subscribe to ScreenRant for more great content. Thanks for watching.